Now we move on to statements. Gael, Taoiseach, are you speaking?
I think it's after.
Oh, the main spokespersons. Well, who is the spokesperson? Sorry. You're just slightly distracted.
I think. I didn't think I was meant to speak.
Yes, please.
Thank you,
Mr. Harris has the floor, please.
Thank you, Corla. I think, firstly, all of us in this House must thank the Irish people for their patience and their forbearance in what has been a very difficult period of time since the general election, as all of us in this House, in all parties, grapple to come to terms with the new political reality. We have been presented by the Irish people with a very diverse political situation, and I want to acknowledge the efforts by many in this House to try and ensure that that outcome can produce a government and bring us to this point today. Today, I truly hope we will see the creation of a partnership government, and this will be a government which will set out a vision of a strong economy, but a strong economy which will help to deliver a fair society, with each, the strong economy and the fair society, dependent on each other to succeed. The success or failure of any new partnership government will not just be measured, though, in terms of percentage points of economic growth or in terms of bond yields or bond yield changes, but rather must be measured in the success of the quality of people's lives and the opportunities for a fair society that exists for all of our citizens. A fair community leans on a strong economy, and we, as we set about trying to put together a new government, are determined to build that competitive and adaptable economy right across the country, centred on the aim of decent work for everyone. This is at the heart of the development of the core ambition for a new government. We now need, Ceann Comhairle, to use our economic success to make the lives of all our people a little bit easier. Government, though, will not achieve this ambition working alone. This government is a partnership government, and it will not just be for those in government or indeed for those in the Oireachtas, but we will also need to create scope to empower communities and citizens so that we can all truly work together to achieve these aims. Ireland has changed, and our citizens rightly have higher expectations. Politics must now respond to those expectations openly and quickly. It must offer people more choice and diversity and help them to be better able to manage threats in their lives. Our aim in 2016 must be to build a nation which values all of our citizens. The deep economic recession and crisis which this country faced has meant that there have been many lost years, and indeed many damaged lives from those difficult years. Those gaps cannot be instantly bridged. There will be bumpy periods ahead. There are potential shocks to our small, open economy. We must be prepared for these. And as we handle these difficulties, we must ensure that we put in place a government able to respond to that. And I truly hope Deputy Rock, on his fourth attempt, will manage that today. But I joked to him when I nominated the Taoiseach in 2011, it only took one go. But I'm sure he'll have persuaded us today. As we form a new government and as we develop a new programme for government, the mandate for that government must be based on three overarching elements. We must create a country which is a great place to rear our children, helping all our people to fulfil their potential through the early years, through our education system, and making sure that work gives decent reward. We must create a great place to work and do business in this country, helping all our people to find a home for their family and the supports that gives their children a good start in life in safe and sustainable communities. We must ensure that we create a great country in which to grow old, giving all our people the confidence that they can get the care when they need it and the chance to remain independent and secure in advancing years. Our determination must be that this approach will take root in all our communities, both urban and rural. I think that one of the weaknesses exposed in the Irish governance system is that it is all too often focused on the short term and does not easily accommodate long-term thinking. There is going to be an onus on the government and on all of us in this House to work to build action plans, to work to get the input of all members. Nobody has a monopoly on wisdom to develop the long-term action plans to address the challenges that we face. There are policy challenges where long-term planning and thinking, and a degree of political consensus, I would argue, are vital to executing a timely plan. Such challenges include climate change and long-term funding models for pensions, higher education and health. We need to ask the next Dáil, this Dáil, to work with the next government to develop longer-term thinking in those important areas. A new partnership government will be, I think it's fair to say, Ceann Comhairle, unlike any other established in this country before, since the foundation of the state. This will be a government that will comprise of great diversity. But the diversity in the 32nd Dáil need not result in division. Diversity is not the same as division, because I believe those of us in government, and indeed those of us in this House, are united in our common cause to make life better for every person in every part of this country. We will argue over the modality of how best to do it, but I think much more will unite us than will divide us. This is a shared ambition which will burn strongly through the newly published programme for government. I think it's worth acknowledging the process that has gone on to arrive at the point where we had endeavoured to put a government in place. There have been formal processes of meetings and agreements since the 24th of March. There have been many hours and indeed days and weeks of formal discussions, informal conversations, sharing our priorities and our perspectives. I now truly hope that those discussions will result in a government that can address the challenges that this country continues to face. Ceann Comhairle, the period of waiting must end for the Irish people. We thank the Irish people for their patience, but the challenges up ahead are building up. The opportunities for this country are great and many, and a new government working with a new Dáil in a new manner can ensure that we can collectively work in the interests of all our people. Gar míle maith.